Good morning. Today is Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. This is your daily Tarot and Oracle reading with Jade Emerald Green. And today I'm out at the park. Been out here all morning after my physical therapy appointment, and I'm just out here catching a vibe. It's been raining on and off. As you can see, sporadically placed around this area that I'm in, there are beautiful flowers. Are those lilacs? In any case, let's get started with today's reading. Good morning once again, y'all. This is our daily collective tarot and oracle reading. This is my first on-camera video one. One of the things, before I started, I noticed these didn't get wet, but it's like, I don't know, it's just damp air right now, and it's been raining on and off, so it's gonna be interesting. I think the theme today, waiting for better weather is what I'm feeling, is what my conversation with spirit is telling me. But it's not always bad being out in the rain. Of course you don't want to catch no cold, no pneumonia, no none of that, but being out in nature doesn't have an agenda. Nature doesn't have a motive, you know. It's just present, you know. So I'm laying these out. As always, we ask our first question, what the fuck are we doing here? What's our recommended course of action? What should we avoid? What's our likely outcomes based off of what's recommended and what's to be avoided? And our clarifier. You know what? I'm going to... Yeah, let's do this now. And then let's get to our oracle. Usually when you see the picture, what I do is like I shuffle each deck and then I keep everything face down and I turn everything up and it makes sense of it. But I feel like taking my time today. So, what the fuck are we doing here? Turning all these over now. Okay. Got it. Okay, so Seven of Wands. Here's our situation. Here's what the fuck we're doing here. We're putting in some work. We are perhaps, you know, trying to prove something, whether it's to ourselves or whether it's to somebody, hopefully, that we care about and they care about us. But there's something that we give a fuck about enough that we're going to put the work in to make things happen. Now, I find it to be interesting that if anyone knows, the Five of Swords, our recommended course of action. This is usually not placed in a good position. This is usually like the indicator of deception, the indicator of someone wanting to win at all costs. Maybe you're wanting to win at all costs. But if this is specifically placed in the recommended course of action, maybe asking yourself, paired with the Seven of Wands, are you being a little bit too humble? Are people asking you to be humble? Why are they doing that? Are they asking you to dim your light? Now, it's never good to kind of, you know, do things so much for external validation that you kind of lose yourself. But it is good to have a healthy dose of confidence to know that you can be victorious. Just use that shit wisely. Wisely is the key word. You don't want to be in a position where you are winning at all costs. One of the things that I've learned and I've had to say to myself in life is that true happiness does not come at the cost of the suffering of others. We see this in everyday situations, in our macro situations, people profiting off of trauma, people profiting off of poverty, for-profit prisons. Like, you don't want to be in that type of energy that like, I'm getting mine, so I hope you get yours. That only gets humanity so far, and that only gets us individually so far. So while it is good to have a little bit of pride, use it with caution. It is good to use your efforts to be victorious, but use them wisely. Our Knight of Cups again. Look here. It keeps coming back day after day. This is day 3 now. Knight of Cups, once again, in the action that perhaps we should be avoid, or maybe I should word it differently. The road less traveled. You know, you can check my description from a couple days ago about the general descriptor for the Knight of Cups. But in short, being in this position means that we have to be in control of our emotions. We can't just be riding around, letting our feelings ride us. You know, we can't be, you know, messy, so to speak, just because we may feel a sense of justification based off of, how our feelings are seemingly dictating us. So be careful, you know, because you don't want your feelings, you know, when you're in a Knight position, you got to be ready for being on offense or maybe even on the defense at any given point. But yeah, you don't want your feelings to be, you don't want to weaponize your feelings just because you feel strongly about them. That is basically what we're getting at here. So be careful for that. King of Pentacles, likely outcome based off of the recommended course of action. When we are, and let me switch this over for the camera. Okay, so, there we go. So, work hard and persevere. Take pride in our work with discernment. Leads us to the likely outcome with the King of Pentacles, where we are mastering or embodying the mastery of our external world. We are manifesting. We are in control of this shit, of our domain, of our kingdom, so to speak. So, you know, all of these are with a healthy dose. You know, King of Pentacles is like the next in line when we are thinking about like major arcana, the Emperor, the source of authority, the source of protection, the source of, you know, that realm of domain of order. King of Pentacles is surely manifesting. And when we think about the other kings, for example, King of Wands, King of Cups, King of Swords, you know, King of Wands is like, okay, you're holding in on your creativity, your ideas. King of Swords, you're holding in on you're mastering your mental. King of Cups, you're mastering your emotions. But this is embodiment. You can't go wrong with that. Now, following the road less traveled, or the things that we should avoid, legacy is the key word for 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is that higher octane pentacle situation that I referred to yesterday. That's the thing that we want to embody. And I am personally biased toward the suit of Pentacles as a Virgo, Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and all the other earth placements that I have in my chart. I'm not going to go through that right now. But in this very set placement of like likely outcome based off of not recommended action, what's the shadow side of legacy? You don't want a legacy to be tarnished. You don't want for this to, you know, to have all your work be vanished in a day based off of, you know, going off of some feeling, going off of, you know, something that may be strong, but you don't want to make you don't want to make permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions. So that's the cautionary tale of the Knight of Cups. If you are making permanent decisions based off of temporary emotions, then that can likely affect long-term impact of, you know, relationships, career, whatever aspect where, you know, you're feeling very strongly. So it's important to be strategic. I feel like that Ace of Swords energy, that Gemini energy of using facts over feelings is still there. And our clarifier for today is the card of Temperance. So you guys know I have the Pulp Tarot deck, and with that one, what I really like about it, I'm not going to pull it out right now. I should have pulled it out earlier. Or maybe I should pull it out. If it does not take me too long. Oh, nope, I can't pull it out because it's in the other bag. But in any case, you know, temperance is everything in moderation. Even the angel is part everything. You see, getting some androgynous vibes here. Also, 1 foot on land, 1 foot on water. You know, like, one could say temperance is hokey pokey, and that can be the shadow side of it. But really, you want to keep balance. You want to have balance. You want to, that's what all of this shit is about. You want to be able to, you know, put in the work, but don't overwork yourself. You want to be able to, you know, have some pride about what you do, but you don't want it to be at the expense of others. And you don't want to be too humble now. And yeah, you want to rule your emotions and not let your emotions rule you. So this is what I am getting from the cards today for tarot. Let's move it on to the oracle. All right, y'all. So, all right, we're at 10 minutes right now. Want to try to keep this under 25 today. Especially, I'm feeling this in the air. I am in a very dry spot. It took me a while to find this spot. Earlier, I was down by the beach side. Okay. I was down by the beach side, you know, doing some rock and mineral collections, and that was very cathartic. This is a really beautiful place, so I'm glad to be in it. I think these mosquitoes, though, might be wanting to holler at a motherfucker. So, sweetness and ideation. These have been coming up a lot, and you know, these are gonna keep coming up until they pass in their natural course. We need to always cherish the sweetness in our life, even when things are bitter. I think this is like a good counterbalance also to the 7 of Swords and the 7 of Wands and 5 of Swords energy, because all work and no play, all work and no appreciation is exhausting, right? So there's that aspect. I'm getting a feel for sweetness is that something is overdue. You know, it's something that you can give to yourself. If you are waiting for other people to be sweet to you, you know, spirit is telling me to say life ain't sweet, baby, you know, but you can make it sweet for yourself. So find your own sweet spot. Ideation. Starting of new projects. What is coming up for you that is like, okay, in alignment with this? Is the reminder, because we are in the full energy that hasn't left. This is a new cycle that we're beginning. So, you know, what are the projects that are in alignment with your mission, your ideals? Having high ideals there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. It's just about, are you able to ground yourself enough to have these big ideas turn into little steps that you can take day by day, so that you can have that manifestation, that King of Pentacles energy. So, Pentacles. Alrighty, so let's move on to our Celebrity Spirit Oracle for today. Oh, yes. I am feeling the dampness in the air with these cards. These cards are like, what are you doing to me? It's gonna be okay, y'all. Alright. So, I don't know. It said it was only supposed to rain for an hour, and it's raining all day. Oh. Okay. We're gonna go with one, because I feel, here's the thing with this particular deck. Even though 2 popped out, and I think I have an understanding as to why, but I gotta prioritize, especially with these celebrity spirit oracles, because these are based off of, you know, people who have passed on, people who are known figures who have passed on. So I find this particular deck to be potent. And I at times have to focus energy, so if like multiple energies pop out or multiple cards pop out, sometimes I just have to prioritize. But this is the first one. Heath Ledger, the show must go on. Okay. Heath Ledger, I appreciated him as an actor personally, and I know he was very beloved. I'm also getting the shadow side of this very clearly, is that, you know, yes, the show must go on, but don't we all wish he was still around? He embodied every single role he had to a T. And one of the things about movies, one of the things about storytelling is that these are like arcs that represent our life, that we are like, okay, this, you know, even the more fantasy based or fiction based type of movies, they still have aura of humanity to them. So you don't want to press yourself at the expense of your health. You know, everything in balance. But even when things are out of balance, life keeps lifing. So yeah, you do have to figure out how the show will go on for you each and every day. Yeah, I'm just getting his energy. I'm gonna move forward, but if I have some time at the end, I'm actually gonna read how the seance was for the people who created this deck, how they engaged with his spirit and how they were able to come across the messaging and based off of their interactions with Heath Ledger's spirit. Okay, so we're moving on to what's the tea? Oracle. And thank you for your patience. Like, you know, I like taking, oh, okay, here we go. I like being able to take time to explain these. I think starting off in the first week, I was just like, okay, I want to keep it around along a certain amount of time, or, you know, but sometimes it takes time to get the full message of everything you need to receive, the full download, so to speak. So please excuse my hair too. I know it's kind of wild, actually. Fuck it, because this rain ain't gonna help nothing. Okay. Nope, and that broke. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it be. Alright. Shine. Shine. Your light irritates their demons. This is happening to so many people. I know that all you're trying to do is be a light to yourself and others. And people try to walk all over that. People try to sit shit on that. People try to distort that. Slander you. Slander and libel. You know? All you can do is shine. And I feel it very like, let's get this imagery right, because this is an open Bible with the cross on it. So, you know, whatever your source of higher power, however you engage with the higher power, even if your higher power is your higher self, your own awareness and intuition and being, engaging with your higher sense of higher power, your God, however the fuck you want to call it. You get what I'm trying to say. It is your protection to keep yourself shining. Look, I know I feel this card way more than what I care to get into right now, but know that these readings, as a reminder, this is a collective reading. So, you know, the point in having these collective readings is to have more relatability to the other, because we don't often check in all the time as to what the other person is going through. We may not know what people are going through at all. Like, you could be fucking surprised as to what someone is enduring. And because, you know, we often have to hold on to things, and we also live in a world where the attention span has collectively shortened. You know, people are holding a lot more weight. And though there's more language and more openness around mental health resources, you know, there can still be a lot of stigma with the self as to whether you get it. In any case, moving on here. Broken Mirror says there's that secretive energy, being sneaky, mysterious, hiding information. So is this you, or is this somebody in your realm that is doing this? Do you feel that there's a certain need to be secretive? Are you trying to protect your energy because people are trying to irritate your shine? Or is it the other way around? Are people, you feel that other people are being sneaky and mysterious and hiding information as a way to attack or otherwise debase you? So you need to incorporate your shine and your higher power energy to counter that. I can see this going both ways. So, it's funny. Another card that came up last night when I was doing some reading was move in silence. I don't know if that's relevant to anybody. Alrighty, we're wrapping up here with our final decks. Also, this is, if you can ever get a hold of this in the road, and I may have some in the future that I may be offering for people for energy exchange, is Newmite. One of the oldest minerals in the world, found in Greenland. Maybe that's why Orange Cheeto Face wants to go and take over Greenland, because he wants some of this Newmite. Very powerful rock. It's the return to Cinder Rock. It's the, like, really potent and absorbing and, like, kind of like being a buffer for these negative energies that are being sent your way. I will do more formal things on this later, you know, or a formal read on this later, but, you know. And I also find it funny that I feel like this goes with the Dark Confessions one, like this protective energy on such a small deck. So, I don't know. I crack myself up sometimes. All right, Dark Confessions Oracle. We're at 20 minutes right now. Almost done. All right. I tried to run from this connection, but my soul craves you. You know what? What I'm learning is that some people's heads and hearts aren't mashed up. In their head, they have a certain idea of who they want, what they want. Their heart and their subconscious is craving something that is perhaps more substantive, less shallow, but they're holding on to this tunnel vision, this image of what they think they want. And it's causing them to not act in your best interest. And little do they know their own best interest. This is something that, you know, you wanna tread lightly if someone has that disconnect between their head and their heart. Until they get real with themselves, don't entertain their shit. Don't entertain their energy. Focus on the things that are really pouring into you, that are fulfilling you, and that won't drain you. This will only be a drain if you're dealing with someone that's not right with themselves now. Okay. Our angel connections today. Am I doing this right? Okay. There we go. Yes. Angel connections. This is really growing on me, this one, because it's so light. I deal with so many heavy cards. It can be a lot. When a dove flies into your day, it's a messenger from the angels delivering a prompt. No, hell no. Mosquito, no. When a dove flies into your day, it's a messenger from the angels delivering a promise of inner harmony and peace. So, I feel like this message is self-explanatory. Like, you know, I don't know how many wild doves are out there. But there are a lot of birds that I really do believe that birds are angels, like angel souls. Like, you know, whenever I'm in a higher state of meditation, whether, you know, it's just a deep breathing, whether I'm chanting, whether I'm, you know, whatever practice I'm doing, it definitely is enhanced when I am aware of the birds chirping. So I would just kind of open that up to, like, wherever you're at, what, you know, if there's a special bird out there that you hear, you know, pay attention to nature. Nature doesn't want shit from you, but to be you. And nature ain't got no ulterior motive. Now, nature will clear some shit out now when it's been wronged. That's that Mother Earth. That's that protection. But there's no ulterior motive. So I'm shuffling this, but I really need to think. So based off of everything we expressed today, I'm not going to flip those over yet. What is our question here? What is it that we need to ask? Based off our situation and our likely outcome. 7 of Wands, King of Pentacles. 7 of Wands, King of Pentacles. Heath Ledger. When, what is the term for when a show goes live on Broadway? Like, when is our show going live? When do we need to, like, really be on point? When we get our iteration? Not in this lifetime. Maybe that's Heath Ledger talking. Like, yeah, this is some long-term stuff. I think we have to get grounded, though. And this is the challenging part of the timing oracle. We have to get grounded in what long-term legacy looks like. Some of the things that we do are, we may not ever see the fruit of it in our lifetime. And I think that's what may be pointing to perhaps with the riots. The change that is being affected through grassroots organizing. It's like when that whole, like, what is it? We shall overcome. I'm thinking of the lyric, and I'm sorry that I'm forgetting this, but, like, you know, some of the things we do for legacy aren't gonna be things that we are gonna be around to see. So, and I think when we think of Heath Ledger, his impact, he wasn't really able to see. I think he had an inkling, but to see the true effects, you have to be willing to sit with that. We often think we're going to live forever, but the reality is that we're here for a good time, for not a long time. You know? When will our show go live? Maybe that's when will our legacy really take root? That's that long-term effect. You got to think of life in the 3 terms. The short-term effect, the medium-term effect, and the long-term effect. And this, I mean, anytime you get Pentacles energy, I'm going to say it and it bears worth repeating, you have to exert patience, because Pentacles take their sweet ass time, because they're grounded. They're not ethereal, like fire energy, just burning shit everywhere, like waking wildfires, and then in the next moment, you know, whatever you saw before you is gone. It's not like water or air, where, you know, you have an element that seems to be flowing, whether you can put it in a cup or not. But I want to get to this other card I pulled, because I also wanted to see what variety. Next year's looks promising. So there are some things that are more tangible, more of the shorter or medium term, that can start to bear fruit within the next year, as long as, like I said, you keep that balance. You're going to have to keep balance in order for the show to go on. I'm going to use these last 2 minutes here to try. Yes. I'm going to read Heath Ledger's message and meaning in the guidebook here. So, Heath Ledger, archetype is hero and outlaw. You can read his biography on Wikipedia. The message: give everything you do your best shot, even if you have to go inside out, as if it's your last performance. I tried. Let's skip to the meaning. If you have chosen this card, you have the natural ability to become whoever you want to be in any situation quite easily. Sometimes we need to wear different hats just to be accepted or fit into any given situation or what is presented to us in life. This card is giving you the confidence to say you have the right energy and adaptability to do so. You may also be a natural clown, be able to make people laugh or cry as if wearing a mask, and giving you control without difficulties. This is a natural attribute to have, as you are able to mask your real emotions and through humor cross the boundary of social acceptance, representing what people would like to do or say themselves. So, you know, remember that energy. I think that's a good balance to have, you know, from what I was intuitively receiving with this card. Yeah, life is a comedy and tragedy. Think of it, and I have the mask. He has the mask here, the Joker mask, and you know, but think of the Greek comedy and tragedy mask. Like, you have to have both in life in order to have a balance of having a full life. I'm going to stop there, y'all. So thank you. This has been the Daily Collective reading on Jade Emerald Green. It's been an honor to be of service to you today, and I'll see you tomorrow.